Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya.
Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki jai. Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Ashram.
Every day is auspicious for chanting the name of the Divine. There is no distinction from one day to the other when the Divine Nama chanting is taken up. In fact, chanting the name makes the day auspicious. And to be able to chant this powerful name with so many people in the powerful shrine of Bhagwan is surely a great shower of grace, and we owe a deep gratitude to Bhagwan. Now, we have been going through some glimpses from the lives of the devotees, from the life of Bhagwan in different stages of his life, and then the glory of Naam, the glory of the story of Naam. Now today we shall see certain songs were very, very dear to Bhagwan, not only because they were composed by great people, but because of the depth of meaning, the depth of blessing contained in it. One of the songs is a Tamil 4 lines from Tirumantiram by Tirumular. Every day, the beginning of Sudama's life, that is in 94, after Bhagwan fell sick, was shifted to Sudama for a more healthy environment and service by the devotees. One of the prescriptions of the doctor was that he should walk for 1 hour. Every day, early morning, 4 o'clock, he would start walking. 4 to 5, we would walk. We could not go outside, but the length of the veranda was enough to move up and down. So it became our regular exercise for Bhagwan, and for me, the great fortune to be with him, to be able to walk with him up and down for 1 hour. What a blessing. Now, those were the times during the walks of the early morning. He would mention a song and ask me to start singing immediately. I had no idea how I should sing at all, and I never was a good singer. I would manage, but it was never more than managing. But after I came to Bhagwan, I understood one thing. When he said, sing, the singing happened. It could only be he singing through this machine, and that was my experience every time. So one day, as we were walking up and down, suddenly he stopped and said, Devaki, there is a song on Guru, a Tamil song. You remember that? And then he said, Telivu Guruvin. Of course, I knew that. Many of us would know. So immediately I recited those lines, and then Bhagwan said, you start singing, Devi. Just for a moment, a fraction of a moment, I wondered how it was possible at all. But then the next second I found myself attempting it. I started, and then after I finished singing the 4 lines, he would say, repeat, Devaki. And then repeat, until it was 5 o'clock. Now that's the same tune that we sing today. So just imagine what a great blessing it must be to be able to walk with him singing this mantra. Telivu Guruvin Tirumeni Kanal, Telivu Guruvin Tirunamum Seppal, Telivu Guruvin Tiruvarthi Ketal, Telivu Guruvin Tiruvuru Sindithal Dani. You see the word Tiru accompanying the 4 important words. The first line says, it's clarity to have darshan of the physical form of the Guru. And the physical form, they have put the prefix Shri. Clarity in thinking. We know that Bhagwan has equipped every one of us with a brain and thinking and discrimination. Now, the first line says, you get clarity in thinking by having darshan of the physical form of the Guru. Just darshan, just seeing the great physical form, the divine form of the Guru, gives you clarity. How? The minute you see him, you feel his presence. Immediately, you are in his presence. Just having darshan of the physical form of the Guru. And what is the result? Clarity in thinking. Without clarity in thinking, how can we ever act sensibly? This clarity is very important even in worldly matters. One has to think and act. One has to think, plan. One has to think, decide, plan and execute. So this is one level of clarity. This is what I was thinking. What could the song exactly mean? So after that the session was over, And then we became busy with our routine. And then one of the following days, Bhagwan asked me to attempt at the meaning of the song. Again, I had no idea what they meant, but he said, attempt, do it. I often used to recite this in front of Bhagwan, the Lord Tennyson's poem about the soldiers. They say the soldier's song. Theirs is not to ask why. When the general gives a command, the soldiers, theirs is not to ask why, but to do and die. Such is the discipline of the soldiers. When the general gives command, jump into the fire. They will not disobey, they will simply obey, they will jump into the fire. Such is the discipline with Bhagwan also. So I began to say whatever came to my mind. I said, Telivu means Jnana Telivu, that is, clarity in thinking about what is what. At one level, having the physical darshan of the Guru gives you clarity immediately. You are in the presence of the Guru, and the very presence, the very Shakti of the Guru makes you realize that this is the aim of life, this is the goal of life. Everything else is Maya. Or I should go about my life with Him as my protector. He is my protector. He is my God. He is my Guru. I should steer the boat of my life as per His guidance. This is what comes to the mind when you see a realized soul. So, just having physical darshan itself gives you clarity in thinking. And the second one is, there is clarity in chanting the name of the Guru. This is what we have always been doing. And this gives you greater clarity because now in the subtle ladder, you are going one step ahead. In the first line, it's a physical form, the darshan of the physical form of the Guru. In the second line, chanting the name of the Guru. This is still, it is at once physical and non-physical, because there are letters which you can see, which you can sing, which you can chant. At the same time, the word as a whole doesn't have a form. So we are now moving one step ahead and getting a higher clarity in thinking. In chanting the name of the Guru, you get a higher clarity in thinking. That the name, that is why Bhagwan said, sometimes pointing to his photograph, this is nothing. This body is perishable. Don't get attached to this form. How many times he had told me that. Don't get attached to this form. This form is perishable. Hold on to the name. Wherever you are, the minute you call out, this beggar is with you. This beggar is with you and within you. So, the second line says, when you keep chanting the name of the Guru, you get a subtle clarity, a higher clarity in thinking. You have gone one step ahead. Now you have given up the physical form. You are now holding on to the letters, aksharas of the mantra. And then the third line is, there is clarity in listening to the words of the Guru. Here it means at once listening and practicing. Otherwise, what's the use of listening? It's also obeying. Listen to the Guru, his teaching, and observe it, practice it. So the third line says, you get still higher clarity in thinking when you begin to obey the Guru and practice whatever he says. Because it's very difficult to do what he says. It's much easier to run to his place, have darshan of Bhagwan, and it is much more easier to chant his name wherever we are, even while we travel in a train or an aeroplane, or in the marketplace amidst a crowd, or in solitude. It is easy to chant the name. Though you cannot have darshan of the physical form, you can have the chanting. But it's very difficult to practice what the Guru has advised. So it is now, as the practice becomes more and more difficult, the clarity in thinking becomes higher and higher, and the process becomes subtler and subtler. What has Bhagwan taught us? The essence of his teaching in his own words. I remember in the beginning of his stay in Sudama, we were reading a book where the samadhi was widely discussed. Then there was a sudden attack of desire. Immediately I folded my hands and begged Bhagwan to give me samadhi. He must have laughed inside, because when you are in the primary school, you cannot ask the professor to give you a PhD degree. You have to grow up, finish your primary, the middle and the higher schools, and then the higher education. There are steps to follow, gradual. So at the time Bhagwan said immediately, Devaki, chanting the name is prayer, chanting the name is surrender, chanting the name is samadhi. Chant the name, chant the name, chant the name. This is what he said. This is our teaching. Didn't he say that when you keep on chanting the name, there is no need to pray separately. The Nama will do everything that is needed by the devotee. So chanting the name itself is prayer. And then he said, chanting the name is surrender. Now, just imagine what is surrender. Submitting oneself from moment to moment, whatever life brings to you. Whatever life brings to you, be it a joy or sorrow, happens according to the will of God. God, who created you in the first place, who is now operating you, activating you into thinking, talking, and doing things. So here, everything happens by the will of God. So surrender is submitting oneself to whatever life brings to you at any moment as the best that can happen to you at that moment, and that best comes from God. And so it is a great blessing. And you go further ahead and be grateful to God for this blessing. And thirdly, he said, chanting the name is samadhi. Now, unless surrender comes, unless you submit yourself to the will of God from moment to moment to moment, all through life, how can you go into samadhi? Samadhi is the state of that one will, which is at work all the time. The supreme will of God, the supreme will of Supreme God. Now when that will alone exists, and that will also subsides into pure awareness, the Parabrahman, the Supreme God, the supreme state of being, and there is only silence. Bhagavan often says, my Father alone exists, there is nothing else, no one else. Sri Ramana Maharishi said, there is only the self, there are no others. Now that one Supreme God is pure awareness. So when you keep on chanting all the time, when every thought will be replaced by Nama, so there will be no agitation, no reaction to anything. There is only the Nama completely taking over your entire being. And that will immediately result in samadhi state, the state of pure awareness, the state of oneness. From the many thoughts, you come to the one thought being the Nama of the deity, Nama of the Guru. And then the Nama also dissolves into pure awareness. This is the state of samadhi. So Bhagavan's teaching is, keep on chanting the name. You don't have to do anything else. But the mind which is incapable of chanting the name all the time, there is a restless energy in the body and mind. So the body becomes restless, the mind becomes restless. So you have to keep the mind and the body busy, and that is why the seva is given to you. You have to keep moving your body, as thoughts also keep moving, jumping from one branch to the other like a monkey. So here, you have to convert every thought into that one Nama, the supreme name of the Supreme God. And then comes surrender. After that, you simply submit to the will of God. Nothing creates any difference to you. There will be no reactions at all, only the action of chanting the name. That which reacts all the time is the ego. So as you become full of Nama, the surrender comes. Immediately you understand the higher truths and they become experience. And the final stage is samadhi. So unless you get surrender, there can be no samadhi. Surrender is following that one will of God and not reacting to the events, not reacting to that will in any way. So you see, it is very difficult to practice this teaching of Bhagavan. Though of course Bhagavan always compromised and said, like Sharadama, a mother, he said, okay, if you cannot chant all the 24 hours, chant as much as you can. The rest will be seen by my Father. This was his compassionate advice. Chant only as much as you can. My Father will see to the rest. So you see, what more concession we can expect from Bhagavan. This is the advantage of having a guru. If you do some 25%, he would complete the rest. So, listening to the teachings of the Guru and practicing them gives you a higher clarity. Now you are going one step further in the ladder of the process. So the clarity now is becoming more subtle. And finally we come to clarity is contemplating on the Guru. When you begin to understand, you see him as a physical form, you get attracted to him, you adore his manners, his way of moving, his way of talking, his way of blessing. After that, you become subtler, you begin to chant the name. Now you don't go all the time to his physical presence. You stay put wherever you are and keep chanting the name. And what is more, you begin to practice his teachings more vigorously and rigorously. And finally, you begin to think. It's all revelation. The brain cannot think. It's only revelation from the higher self inside. As you get completely drowned in the Nama, the main teaching being chanting the name all the 24 hours, when you begin to do that, then the higher truths will flash inside. They float from the depths of the being. The higher truths, one after the other, they come to the fore and reveal themselves to you. It's a revelation. It can only be a revelation from the higher self. So this is the meaning. This is what I had understood. And this is what I said, and I thought I could be very, very stupid. And then I prayed to Bhagwan that he should bear with me if my understanding was not complete. The beginning, we start with the darshan of the physical form of the Guru. In the last level, we understand that the Guru is not confined to the physical form or to the Nama. He is the all-pervasive, all-knowing, all-powerful, supreme Brahman, the universal being, the pure awareness. Bhagwan smiled, and then he raised his hand and blessed me. When I was in his presence, if he said start singing, the singing happened. So I believe when this came out, it happened. The symbolic meaning of each line of the song happened, which drew a smile from Bhagwan because it happened because of his presence, because of his purity, because of his blessing. So there was a huge blessing from him with a bewitching smile, as it always happened whenever the symbolic meaning of any of his gestures revealed itself. So let us remember the 4 lines. It starts with the physical form of the Guru, which itself gives you clarity in thinking. You begin to understand that more than anything else, you want to be in the presence of the Guru. You get the taste, the divine taste of the presence of the Guru. And then the divine taste of the Nama chanting, and then practicing and practice. Bhagwan once said, take up any one teaching of the Guru and practice all your life, and you will get there. And the fourth is the contemplation of the true being of the Guru. Is he only the physical form? Is he only the name that he has given me? Is he only the teaching, the practice? The practice leads to a result. Then you understand that it is he who is the cause behind all that you see. He is the pure awareness who has become your own consciousness in which your thoughts occur. I read an article by Preeti Srinivasan. She has mentioned in her article about the experiments by Benjamin Sebbe, where of course so many brains, the brains of some people, volunteers, were all wired, and the electrical impulses were noted as the form of waves. And he found out, he asked those people to switch on. There was a switch nearby. They had to just press the button, that's all. But he found the electrical impulse first, and then the action. The action, as soon as, because he said, the minute you think you want to switch on, the decision and then action, they happen. But to his great surprise, he found the electrical impulse coming before the decision, which means in the conscious level, in our conscious level, when we think that we are deciding, we are considering the pros and cons of the matter and make a decision, know that it has already been done in the subconscious. The decision was there already in the subconscious, which just came into the conscious region and you became conscious. Which means the monkey mind is riding the wild tiger of the subconscious mind. This is what Benjamin says. There is a tiger of the subconscious where your entire life has been registered. The decision that you are going to make at any moment at the conscious level has already happened in the subconscious. It comes to the fore in the conscious, and then you recognize and you own it as your thinking, your decision. Anyway, we won't go deep into all that, but enough to say that finally whatever happens in the conscious mind is Maya. The consciousness alone is the truth. Like the cinema run on a screen, the cinema is Maya, the hero, heroine, villain, on all the sub-characters. But the cinema cannot run without a screen behind. And that is the substratum, the truth, the ultimate truth, the pure consciousness. So let us try, whenever we sing this song, of course, there is a flow of grace from Bhagwan. Bhagwan has blessed it so much. Whenever you sing this song, you can be very sure it creates, there is a flow. It creates a flow of grace from him. And at the same time, when you remember the symbolic meaning of this, you will benefit more because you get involved and you sing with feeling. Now this Bhagwan is here right in front of us. We shall submit our today's prayers. Bhagwan, no matter what we talk about Parabrahman, the subconscious, the situation that prevails today is a great concern for everyone, and one cannot help reacting to it. One cannot simply accept it as God's will. Perhaps attempting to pray to set it right is also a spontaneous occurrence. So let us do it. Bhagwan, only you can intervene and free the entire humanity from the dreadful clutches of this virus and its variants, and introduce once again a dharmic normalcy everywhere, in every stage of life, in all aspects of life. And Bhagwan kindly uproot the panic and all the negative feelings from the minds of people. People are in great depression. People panic. This panic is more dangerous than the pandemic. And Bhagwan, please stop the rapid spread of the disease. We beg you again and again, please stop it. And enter the medicine, make it work, so that the whole clan of the viruses will be gone. And again, all those people who are struggling without a bed in the hospital and without proper medicines, we beg you again to provide wherever they are needed. And all those great soldiers who are slogging through the day at the very risk of their life for the sake of the others, please give them protection and all-round well-being. And we beg you for a boost to our economy, and above all, we should be able to practice whatever you have advised, which is ceaseless Nama chanting. And you have advised that we should be instruments in the hands of God. And again, you have told us time and again that we should be able to see only God's grace in everything. Whatever happens is necessary for our spiritual growth, and therefore it happens, and therefore no matter how negative it is while it's happening, we should still take it as a positive blessing for us, because it is truly so. It will reveal itself how it is a blessing very soon. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.
Yogi Ramsuratkumar